Ukraine has received massive monetary support from an unlikely source, Howard Buffett. The eldest son of billionaire investor Warren Buffett is following the Oracle of Omaha's advice on the importance of giving back, putting the money to work. The Howard G. Buffett Foundation has donated more than $500 million to Ukraine since the country was invaded by Russia. And now Howard Buffett, chairman and CEO of the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, is joining us live tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time, Howard.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Your foundation has donated the staggering more than $500 million so far to Ukraine. We know hundreds of millions more are slated for just this year. So to put this in perspective, a whole country like Canada has given just under $300 million. Why this cause, Howard? What are the stakes?
Well, when the full-scale invasion occurred, when Russia went into Ukraine, it was obvious it was going to create a significant issue in terms of global food security. And our foundation is focused on both global food security and conflict mitigation. So with that in mind, as those two things come together, we knew that we'd have to be in Ukraine. We didn't know when we went in early 2022 that we would spend this kind of money, but the need is significant. And so we're just trying to meet the needs as we can meet them. And obviously, we can only do so much, but we're trying to do as much as we can.
Yeah, as much as you can. I hear it. And we know that aid for Ukraine is stalled here in the U.S. That foreign aid package with $61 billion for the country has just been waiting for a vote in the House. As someone who has been on the ground in Ukraine several times since the war started, and we're taking a look at some of the photos, what is your response to U.S. lawmakers who say helping the Ukrainian fight should not be a priority for this country?
Well, we can't avoid being engaged in this fight. It's just whether we're engaged in it now while the Ukrainians are losing their lives over the fight for freedom and democracy and sovereignty, or whether we have to fight that war later. Putin, who prior to the invasion, it's harder to analyze it today, but prior to the invasion, the Russian military was the second most powerful military in the world, not the largest, but the second most powerful. Putin has said that he's going to take Ukraine. He has said that he is going to proceed further into Europe. His generals have said it. His spokespeople have said it. There's no reason to believe that they're not telling the truth. So if Ukraine falls, you'll see NATO involved. And some people say, well, we can withdraw from NATO. If we withdraw from NATO, we have no allies left in the world and no friends left in the world, which is not a situation we want to be in at any time, but especially in the next 5 to 10 years. So logically, if you just follow through the consequences of our failure to support Ukraine, there's just no way for us to avoid being involved in it at some point. And it's much smarter to be involved in it right now when Ukraine is actually doing the fighting.
Yeah, now or later. I understand your perspective. And Howard, I have two more questions for you. I want to ask you very quickly about the American dream, because it is such an important part of your family's story. Your father, Warren Buffett, famously bought his first stock, I believe, at age 11. And then his hard work, his savvy, built this fortune, earning him this reputation as one of the best investors, not just in this country, but in the entire world. Really an example he's held up of the promise and opportunity in this country. Do you think that opportunity still exists today?
Oh, I think for sure the opportunity exists today. The United States has been able to weather a lot of storms and recover from a lot of setbacks. And I don't think we're in any situation today less than we have been in the past. So I think, yes, it absolutely allows people who want to work hard and develop the skill set and make the commitment to success, the opportunity to do what hundreds of thousands of people have done over the years in the United States. And success is very achievable in this country. And if you look around the world, and I've been around the world, there's no other place where you can do what you can do in the United States. And the opportunity is amazing. And so, yes, I think it is absolutely just as solid and available today as it has been in the past.
Howard, very quickly, we're talking about the U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts like Ukraine. Obviously, we are in this election year right now, a rematch between President Biden and former President Trump. What leader do you think the U.S. needs in regards to these sort of foreign conflicts?
Well, we need a leader who can have the vision to understand what happens to the United States, what the consequences are to the United States if we don't support Ukraine. I mean, I've never seen anyone publicly state that they want to commit genocide, and Putin has done that. He says he wants to exterminate the Ukraine as a country. He wants to exterminate the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian culture. I think someone like that
is that Biden or Trump, Howard?
I can't tell you who it is. I don't know the answer to that because, you've seen somewhat what Biden has done, and now he's being constrained by the U.S. Congress. Trump has not said what he would do. So I can't guess what either one of them will do in the future. And as circumstances change, leadership has to react to those circumstances.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.